The Green Party co-leaders say talks with Labor are progressing and they expect to conclude discussions by the end of the week. Having won an outright majority on election night, Labor doesn't need a helping hand to form a government. But Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has been speaking to Green Party co-leaders Marama, Davidson and James Shaw about areas they could cooperate on. Our political reporter Katie Scotcher joins us from our Parliament office with the latest. Katie, so the party leaders have just met. What's happened today?
Yeah, so Marama, Davidson, James Shaw and Jacinda Ardern met for about an hour and a half this afternoon. We actually only expected that meeting to last about an hour, and it went on obviously 30 minutes long, but we were told not to read too much into that. Obviously, these discussions can take some time. Now, this was the second proper conversation that the party leaders have had about forming this government. The first meeting was just a catch-up to talk about logistics. So yeah, we'll see what happens for the rest of the week, how conversations progress.
Did they give us any clues to what specifically they were talking about?
No. At the end of last week, we heard that the conversations and the discussions were fruitful, and today we heard they were progressing. So we aren't being given too many clues. In fact, we're hearing more about the snacks and the refreshments on the table rather than the actual content of discussions. Last week, Marama Davidson said they had Crispies, I think, a type of biscuit, and today they had Mallow Puffs, which is obviously a much fancier biscuit. So read into that, I guess, what you will. But because Labor has this outright majority, I guess we're not really expecting there to be, the party leaders to be discussing any coalition agreement. It'll more likely be some sort of confidence and supply agreement that was obviously in place after the previous election. But here's what the party leaders had to say after their discussion this afternoon.
We still haven't landed on a final offer. We are working through and getting to that point. Once we do have that, it will be going straight to the members. So again, we haven't quite gotten to that point yet.
If you conclude talks with Labor on Friday, would you be looking at presenting it to members on Friday night? What's the time frame or timing around that?
Again, that depends on how the talks progress over the next number of days. We have been able to, at this point, confirm that we'll have another meeting tomorrow, but it's, we're still working through the issues and we still can't nail down the exact timeframes, but we're hoping to have a call and an agreement to put to the members towards the end of the week.
Is it fair to say though that things are progressing slower than you had anticipated? Because I understand we weren't anticipating a meeting.
Not at all. You've got to remember that the fastest that a government has formed under MMP is 12 working days, and we're not quite clear of that deadline since the last election. So we're moving as fast as we can, but forming a government is complicated business and there's a lot to work through. We have a really good relationship with the Labor Party, so the talks are very constructive, very, very positive, but there's a lot of detail.
So, Katie, what actually happens next?
Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. Obviously, you just heard there, Marama Davidson says the co-leaders will be meeting with Jacinda Ardern again to continue their conversations, and then we'll just have to see what happens after that meeting. But obviously, as we've been talking about, the parties are hoping to come to an agreement by the end of the week. And once an offer has been put on the table that the co-leaders are happy with, they then have to take it to the Green Party membership, and they basically all get on a call and then discuss what's on the table, and they need to get 75% support from their party, from the party members, to get that offer across the line. So James Shaw was asked about that just before and said that if they get 74% of support from their party members, then they'll be sitting on the opposition benches instead of being part of the next government. Now, the timing around this obviously isn't clear at all. We know that they want to conclude talks by the end of the week, but we just don't know when that's going to happen. And I asked the co-leaders around the timing of that call. After the last election, Green Party members were briefed on the day that this confidence and supply agreement was put on the table and finalised. So it's possible that the same thing could happen this year. But it'll be interesting to see, I guess, the reaction from Green Party members, what they think of whatever deal will be put on the table. We've heard from some former MPs who would prefer for the Green Party to be in the opposition benches and challenging Labor on the decisions that it makes. But we've also heard from others who want the Green Party to be part of the next government so they can help get their policies across the line and can help implement change. But yeah, so we'll see how all of these discussions conclude. But Jacinda Ardern said after the election that she wants to form a government within 2 to 3 weeks. So we should expect an outcome from this, whatever it may be, very shortly.
Just before you go, Katie, very important question. If you were trying to persuade someone to your thinking, would you offer a crispy or a mallow puff?
I personally would take a mallow puff. I think it's a nicer biscuit and I'm not too keen on coconut, so I wouldn't take a crispy.
Thank you. That is Katie Scotcher joining us live from our gallery office there.